Welcome to Tsukikari Anime Podcast, where we look at anime with fresh new eyes and give you our input. I'm EliseAyumu.
And I'm Lucian Shoten.
And today we have a special guest with us.
Kerian.
Just Kerian.
Just Kerian.
Yep.
Okay, so today we're actually going to be watching Kakegurui. I know I butchered that. It's the gambling anime, if anybody out there has ever heard of it. So the synopsis from my anime list is, unlike many schools, attending the private academy prepares students for their time in the real world. Since many of the students are children of the richest people in the world, the academy has quirks that separate it from the others. By day, it's a normal school, but by night, it turns into a gambling den, educating them in the art of dealing with money and manipulating people. Money is power. Those who come on top in the games stand at the top of the school. So, Kieran, what do you think you'll think about the anime?
From the clips I've seen and briefly heard of, I haven't obviously watched a full episode, and it's been a long time since I've heard of it. I think it'll be very stylish. I think we'll definitely see some stuff thing. I mean, even seeing the tag of psychological. Whether I feel as if it will go too far. And when I say too far, it's a bit hard to explain. Like, just personally, my taste, I don't think I'll be disgusted by it, but just feel like, oh yeah, here we go, people acting bad for bad sake, or whatever. But I think it is interesting just having the school at night. And that might at least alleviate some of the stuff of typical anime of, oh, the school just lets you do anything.
Yeah. How about you, Lucan?
I think it's going to remind me a lot of lunchtime during my high school experience. Play poker, win a bunch, rule the school from playing poker. Sounds about my normal high school life. Definitely heard that there are darker overtones to this anime, which is going to be a nice change of pace from most high school-based anime. But the art style does throw me off a little bit. It's what's kept me from watching it in the past. So I'm definitely hoping I can get my mind past that and enjoy this one.
Yeah, the art style is kind of wonky for me too, just because I feel like it goes from normal anime to creepy anime eyes, and it does that a lot during one episode. Not that I've seen any episodes, from the clips I've seen and the pictures I've seen, it looks like they focus really much on the creepy eyes, but at the same time, I have watched 5 seconds of the first episode of the anime, and it looked like a normal anime, and then the theme song happened. And my mom, who was watching it with me, is just like, yeah, no, we're not watching this, and turned it right off, so even my mom doesn't want to watch this.
Your parents walk in on you.
Okay.
Oh boy, alright, this is...
So, I guess we'll go into watching the 3 episodes of the anime, and then we'll come back and discuss it.
Alright then.
Sounds like a plan.
Alright, so we'll be right back.
From watching 3 episodes of Kakegurui. So, Kieran, what did you think about this anime?
I thought it was quite enjoyable. I was entertained and interested in what was going on for the 3 episodes. How about you two?
Yeah, it definitely exceeded my expectations of the anime. But those weren't very high to begin with. So...
I loved it. You know what? I got Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 vibes. I'm down. I loved it.
I can definitely see the comparison, yeah.
Yeah.
Never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. I've seen every other season of Yu-Gi-Oh! Including GX, 5Ds, Zexals, Arc 5.
The new one.
I've only seen
Sevens,
season
I think
1
it is.
of Reigns. Haven't seen any of the 7s or whatever the hell that's called. But never seen season 0.
Yeah, just imagine Yu-Gi-Oh! Before the card game, except for like 1 or 2 episodes, and that there were actually consequences, and that Yami Yugi is evil.
And Death Games. Lots of death games.
You say actual consequences like regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Didn't have any.
Death
And
games.
I'm just saying more explicitly.
Yeah, no, I know. I've heard general things about it, but...
But yeah,
Anyway,
so
let's not get off topic.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed this anime because it gave me like Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 vibes. It actually made me remember that I have to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 for anime critic review that I have to post on Tumblr.
Alright, well, good to know. Hey, maybe we can cover that for an episode of this. I could watch the first 3 episodes of Season 0.
I'd give away too much.
And,
You already know the ending of the actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Story. What do you mean he's the Pharaoh?
What do you mean? Okay,
How about those camera angles?
Yeah, those were, they enjoyed their camera angles.
Were thighs and asses the entire good chunk of the time.
okay.
You certainly knew what to do.
I actually wrote down something about the camera angles, and I think Kieran's going to agree with me on this one.
Okay.
JoJo vibes.
Yeah, that's definitely the posing at times, especially Yumiko, seemingly just being a bit excited at moments, to say the least.
Yeah, I've haven't watched JoJo's. Not a fan. I completely disagree because of it. No basis on disagreeing, but I disagree.
Yeah, no, there were definitely JoJo vibes. The first thing I got JoJo vibes from were Mary's lips and her face in the first scene where you see Mary be like, I'm going to win because I'm cheating.
Oh yeah, definitely those moments. How did you feel about those exaggerated faces? Because they never really bugged me, and I did like, obviously, the point is to exaggerate what they're feeling at the points, and I did like the student council ladies, because her eyes were always closed, so when it did the intense face of hers, normally that's when a character like that, her eyes would open up, but her eyes were still closed, and I did like that. It made me laugh.
Yeah, I like how they compared it to the masks that were behind her. Yeah. So, I don't know. The dramatic faces, I felt like at times it was good, but at times it was too much.
Yeah, I felt like they overused them. Well, using them sparingly would have added a lot more to certain moments. But instead, it was basically they used them throughout the whole game. And it just took away from what they could have been.
Yeah, if they just used it at the climax and just used it at the very, very end, I would understand it, but they were using it like at the beginning, in the middle, in the end, and left, right, and center.
Yeah, and the main female character's lewd face a little too much, which made it very uncomfortable to watch at times. Like, this isn't an anime that I would want to show someone who's going to first be getting into anime, or, you know, like, you have a parent who wants to sit down and watch some anime with you. I'm not going to put this one on. And the main reason behind it is going to be the faces. Even though the concept is good and could get people behind it, those type of faces, along with body
contortions?
Yeah. Just it definitely left that uncomfortable, unneeded ecchi vibe.
Yeah, which to be fair, yeah, it's sexual, though there's not really any nudity so far. Just the camera angles you mentioned for like thighs and that is I mentioned at one point, like when they're doing the card one, looks down, sees boobs. I just enjoyed that little thing.
What?
And then when she was looking down at the cards, you just saw the cards, but also just her chest right there, because, you know, boobs. You look down, you see boobs. Makes sense. And then, of course, the opening and end had some answer, but it's more sexual than just pure nudity.
Yeah, so let's talk about the opening and endings.
I think the opening was perfect. Like, the song was good. The images showed the story to a point without giving too much away. And it had that unique vibe that really fed into the anime. So I
completely agree.
See, I don't know if Kieran would agree with that, but I knew... What?
I just like how the opening animation was done, how it's all the weird stuff that was going on with it, how it... I did enjoy the type of music that went with it.
See, I actually have written down here, 1, why so sexy?
Well, I mean, the rest of the show is overusing sexuality to convey gambling addictions.
Yeah,
so...
but I figured that out. I just had to write down why so sexy. But the first time I saw the opening theme song, I'm in completeness. So when we first started watching just now, I actually wrote down noir vibes.
Yeah, definitely had those noir vibes.
So it had like noir vibes to me. Like the theme songs were very similar.
Yeah, theme songs were similar. Imagery, definitely. I think this anime did do the imagery a little bit better. Like I said, near perfect opening, really.
Yeah.
Not too much to complain about.
I thought the ending at first was very simple, though I did like the, for her walking towards the camera instead of to the side, because that's a usual ending thing. But then she just starts ripping, and then all the stuff going on in the background around her. It was simple, but it didn't feel lazy at that point.
I was like watching it and then like zoning out because it was just so like you said, simple, plain. To me, I was like, oh, so it's kind of like Ultimate No Policy once again, the Sailor Moon theme song, where you just have Serena walking along towards the outside of the TV screen, except for instead of the outside, it's towards the viewer this time. And then I'm like, wait, is it raining just on her? And as soon as I zoomed in on that, boobs.
Yeah, this ending definitely felt very generic, and also kind of a letdown because of the opening.
Yeah.
I thought the ending would be so much better because the opening was so good.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a letdown.
I definitely thought that the ending would be more stylized.
Yeah, but they chose to go the route of most people are going to skip this to get to the next episode anyways.
Yeah.
So let's put all our budget into everything else. Fair. Doesn't make for a great ending.
Okay.
What did you guys think about the characters?
I was just gonna be like characters.
Yeah.
There's one character that really pissed me off.
Okay, which one's that?
Ryota.
Okay, yeah.
And he pissed me off because he's as useless as Yuki from Mirai Nikki.
I wouldn't say he's necessarily as useless. He just doesn't have a role. He's there just as an introduction, this is what can happen character, and that's it. Yet they try playing him off as a main character. If he was just a one-off to introduce you to the series, would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah, he's definitely a background character.
Yeah.
Mary has more of a lead role than he does.
He's a background character pushed as a main character. It's weird.
Yeah.
He
focuses on Yumiko, so I didn't really think of Ryo a whole lot.
Yeah.
He was harmless.
I actually really liked Mary. I thought that she was fun.
See, I thought he'd like Mary because he likes pigtails. Blonde pigtails.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to deny any allegations that have been thrown my way, and I'll plead the fourth there. But Yeah, no, I actually thought that she was a fun character, especially because they show her originally at the highest of highs, and then she's the one that they show you at the lowest of lows first. So she has that nice dynamic, and I'm interested to see what they do with her moving onwards. Because judging on the theme, she's going to actually have an important role later on.
Yeah.
It's a bit shocked that he decided to follow her, because of course she doesn't play a major role in episode 2 or 3. Like, you see her, you get an idea of her situation, and you move on to the main. But it was nice to see them essentially follow up and following with, what gambling can do, how you can fall from grace, and then you just try to gamble more to try and make it up and just keep falling further and further. So good use of the theming there, and a nice little surprise.
Isn't it funny that what seems to be a side character gets more development than one of the main characters?
True.
Oh.
No, actually, they do definitely continue on with Mary, because at the very end of episode 3, they're just like, here's Mary's payback thing, and here's Yumiko's payback thing.
Yeah.
So, they're definitely following both of them.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to have a face-off at the end.
So what I think is going to happen is Yumiko and Mary are going to, team up, and they're going to mentor each other. Because Yumiko, she didn't seem like she cared all that much, but at the same time, in the 3rd episode, she was like, you basically kicked a dog that was dying onto the ground into the sewer. Don't do that, you bitch.
Yes. And even she did express that she was exaggerating, but the keyword is slightly, so she did probably mean most of that. And do you want to get on to Miko's character? Because that's a nice one to talk about.
Yeah, sure. What did you think about Yumiko's character? Because all I have written down is Yami. She was Yami Yugi.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like her basically split personality. You're right, it does give a Yugi vibe, but she doesn't transform into another person.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, I'm not a fan of those type of characters myself. Otherwise, I don't actually really have that much of a problem with either side of her. Gambling addiction, sexaholic, and the pure innocent probably doesn't know what sex is character.
Let's get our gambling freak on! Was annoying.
Yep.
Yeah, that line, right, yeah.
Twice in 3 episodes!
Yeah. That was
I really like picture. I liked how when there are characters like Miko, where it goes from innocent and then you see their more devious side, you usually see, the innocent side as a lie, whereas I didn't really get that. It felt like both sides were true. Obviously, the gambling one more so, but it didn't feel like the innocent one was a lie. And I like how she is in a position where she's somewhat of a neutral character who just wants to play game. Like in the first episode, Euler didn't really help Ryoto because he wanted to specifically be nice. It was, I got to play this game because of you. I had a really good time. Thank you. Here's that. Don't we become friends? But at the same time, there is somewhat niceness because earlier on, she did an intense face when she saw Ryoto getting mistreated.
Yeah,
and of course, what you said, episode 3 of her reacting to how Mary was treated. So she, I guess, neutral good would be the best way to describe her personality. I'm sure if it was in the pursuit of a game, she would probably go towards more of a neutral bad if the situation called for it. I do like how she is, and I also do like how, even from these first 3 episodes, she is not invincible. She states in the first episode she had to rely on, so she still could have lost even after In episode 2, even after finding out the trick, she notes that had the other girl done a different pattern, she would have lost. And the fact that she actually did lose in episode 3, though it was due to double cheating, still, that also showed a good escalation of how much of a threat the student council is, the fact that they managed to beat her.
Yeah, she technically has a less than 50% average of winning right now.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just talking about it in terms of the bigger stakes. Like, I didn't count, like, of course, the back and forth at the beginning of episode 1, like, 2 chips, and then chips, and then back and forth for the big bet.
The thing with the bigger stakes is technically the other opponent didn't need to accept them, so she could be 0% right now in winning.
Mm-hmm.
So you really do have to count the not final thing with it. Because
just, you know how that mattered. That was a big just dumping 10 million yen on the table. That was great.
That was okay, so pacing. What did you think about the pacing?
Really well done pacing. It didn't
We agree.
move too fast, but wasn't slow. It showed you everything that you need to see within 3 episodes. It literally follows the 3-episode anime rule. It gives you everything you need within 3 episodes, and then the 3rd episode ends with a cliffhanger.
So, I actually thought the pacing kind of seemed fast. Not too fast.
Really?
But kind of fast. Because it went from let's have Yumiko challenge Mary to let's have Yumiko challenge the student council. Woo!
I don't necessarily think that is a step up, though, because they made it so that you knew that she wasn't necessarily a student council member because she deserved to be. And then the next one that she challenged, she had already beaten the previous student council member, so she had more of a right to it. So it was good stepping stones.
The reason I think if episode 4 goes where I think episode 4 is going to go, the pacing was too fast. Because at the end of episode 3, she's like, I want to challenge the student council president. So if she does, pacing's too fast.
I don't think she's going to right away because I think she might challenge her, but I don't think the student council president would accept.
Also, student council president is Himiko Toga.
Kind of, I guess.
I think the individual episodes, an episode in and of itself is paced fine, maybe slightly fast. Though in terms of the structure, like going from episode to episode, I do see it as being a bit fast. I know what you mean. It makes sense stepping on wise.
Well,
It does make me think about the future of the anime is 2 seasons, and then the manga is even longer. So it takes a very long time to get the student council thing, which I hope it doesn't. There's going to be more new threats to gamble.
Well, I definitely think that, like, if you think about it, if she were to challenge someone else within this, it wouldn't make sense. Because Mary was already shown to be one of the top gamblers in the school. And it made sense for Mary to challenge the new student who's in her class to try showing her dominance. And she also just seems like that type of person.
Hey, bitch.
So you really wouldn't want to go lower from there. Because then it just makes it seem like petty almost.
Now, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm jumping back and forth with this. But it just dawned into my head. Who else thought that when Yumiko made that strange face after seeing how Ryota was treated, when Mary was like, go get the chips and stuff like that, right? Who thought that, like, the final bet was going to be, Ryota's my pet?
Definitely thought that.
I thought it was be something like, oh, you still have a large debt to pay me. Well, you don't have the money, but I'll take your slave off your hands.
I
thought that was going to be how it was going to be.
The theme song makes it seem like that's gonna be the thing too, and then it isn't, and it's like, oh, he's just following her around because he now owes her money.
Yeah.
About
Not
Cat
technically,
Yumiko.
but
Yeah.
Cat Yumiko was cute.
actually, my favorite one is the girl.
Yes, the student council loli.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you gotta like the lollies.
Apparently.
She's in high school.
We'll probably
at
get
least.
looted.
I don't know. Last
You're
episode,
right.
you were going for the kindergarten.
You're right. They say it's a middle school and a high school put together.
Exactly.
True.
Fucking.
First year middle school. I'm calling it right now. Maybe even skip.
Oh, it's a
few
lolly,
grades.
so probably. She's probably the oldest among them.
Well,
Yes.
that's a possibility.
As for Yumiko facing other students, I think that makes sense because Yumiko just seems to care about the game itself. Like, obviously, she wants a more intense challenge.
Yeah,
I don't think she would be against people punching her necessarily because I think most people probably wouldn't want to. Obviously, well, she fell down to midden status now. Oh, but, other than that, people probably wouldn't want to challenge her, as well as they're probably introduce other students that are kind of like prize upstarts, such as probably like Yumiko herself, or that girl who paid to get onto the student council because she was skilled. And I did like how the stakes in that game of like, oh, you wouldn't want your toy company to become a scandal due to using a trick deck.
You see, when they were talking about the original stakes of the second game, which was just your nails, I was like, oh, feck, I'm gonna have to edit in some Higurashi no Kuroni into this podcast.
Yeah. Couldn't remember the
I
name.
couldn't remember the whole thing. It's
Put
just
in a
Higurashi.
trailer for the new one.
Oh.
Actually, I don't think we've brought up the actual pet system yet. What did you both think of that? Like, because I personally thought it was kind of lazy. Like, the idea behind it is if you don't give a certain donation, then you become a pet. The pets all have the same name, which is incredibly lazy and uncreative.
Fido.
Because they really only need to show a couple pets throughout the series, so you could have given them all different pet names, and it wouldn't have been that big of a strain on them. So that
I think it's just.
was. But
I think it's just the point of having it be organized.
Yeah, so I don't know, the pet system, I actually find it interesting that it wasn't actually part of the school until just 2 years ago, when Himiko Toa took over the student council presidency.
I also found it funny that people would make fun of people for turning into pets, but like they'd be random side characters who probably either don't actually gamble or do very minimal bets. So it's like, what the fuck are you laughing at? Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, at least a pet put themselves out there, and you're just sitting in the background. You're a yes man.
Like, someone lost, like, she lost to the student council, who are supposedly the best gamblers in the school. I don't necessarily think that renders, like, disrespect. So, like, I can understand it to a point of, like, maybe shunning them a little bit or whatever, but for these random people who it seems like probably have never placed a bet in their lives to, like, come to a different classroom to laugh at them, it's like, that's a little much. That doesn't make any sense.
What are your thoughts, Kieran?
It seems to be an exaggeration of how and he looks like laughing at the people who have fallen on tough times. And they could just be laughing at, oh, you were stupid enough to face the student council president, or, oh, you weren't good enough to keep your finances so you well. To be fair, not gambling and not risking that thing is a smart play. Of course, it is also a reflection on how, yeah, sometimes you can't pay debt, so you got to do other work. I remember Gaijin talking about stuff, forcing, you would have to repay debt somewhere else, other way other than the money. And I did like a little detail with the student council lady in the kimono being one of the reasons why she was so scared of losing was because she would have to pay the club, like sell out her club in order to repay the finances. And she was worried because actually part of the reason she formed that club was to keep some of the girls who were working with her from becoming house pets. It's like, oh, she was actually doing a partially nice thing by keeping those girls safe.
Which
Also,
doesn't necessarily make sense because other than like them getting laughed at, it doesn't actually seem like it's necessarily the worst thing to be a house pet.
Unless you're married.
Well, it depends.
Well, I think
how
that
you would
one was
do
more
it, like,
he was just in debt to her. So
being in debt by possibly like even just a bit, it could be huge amounts because, like he said, would not be able to repay her. That was a big deal. So it's probably a chance where those girls could have fallen on hard times, and the student council lady, being part of the student council, had a bit of luck. It's like, okay, they'll be able to help me. So it's a nice little thing of her having a little niceness to her. I am getting a bit annoyed. I'm not annoyed to not the right word. I hope that the aspect of cheating doesn't fully continue. I hope there is one where it is just a regular match. And I do understand the whole point is that gambling is a game of chance and you want to put the odds in your favor. So of course you need to cheat. So you want to cheat and you want to cheat hard to win. I get that. I just hope that there is someone, maybe it's the actual student council president who will be as good as Yumiko to the point where she won't need to cheat and it'll just be an intense match. I just hope that at least not all of them involve cheating because even though they could be entertaining, you'll be like, okay, here's the more intense thing. Okay, how are they cheating and how does Yumiko counter it? To be fair, she couldn't counter or this last one and even the other ones, as I mentioned before, there was still a chance losing if they cheated a different way or just off chance.
It's one of those things where the cheating is expected in this type of anime, but
I get that
in really convoluted and dumb ways.
Okay. So
that one sec. That the first one didn't make sense how she won because like originally they're like, oh, the deck was just stacked against her and she knew the odds, whatever. But then they added in that the guy was throwing in hand signals and signaled that she was going for scissors, and the other person who was reading his signals still put paper out when they had rock in their hand.
So it was so cheating is so expected in the anime that before we started episode 3, I was like, magnets.
Yeah.
And I was right, I called it. I'm like, I don't know where the magnets are going to be, but magnets.
Yeah.
I'm not against the cheating being there. I just hope that it's not every match.
I just want to be more clever. Like,
yeah.
I'm fine with it even in every match. I just want to be more clever and more well thought out to the point where someone's cheating and they don't use the cheating.
Yeah, if double concentration was actually them both just having super great memories, that would have been awesome. But instead it was super great memories and cheating.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're about to wrap up here, so let's give our ratings. Kieran, what would you rate the anime out of 10?
I think an 8 sounds about right.
Okay.
I'd give it about 7.
I was going to give it an 8.
Alright.
Yeah, I was going to give it an 8. So I think overall we 7.5?
Yeah.
7.75?
Around there, yeah.
Yeah.
So why did you rate it an 8, Kieran?
Just because of the amount of enjoyment I got out of it. It was just one from one episode to the next, having a good time.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much why I rated it an 8. It was, it actually capped my interest. It's one of those animes I actually see myself finishing watching, and that's something big for me.
Yeah, the enjoyability factor there was definitely high. Only reason I docked it a couple was the lazy ending, the characters, since realistically only one and a half of them are built right now. That's a little bit lacking, but otherwise, really enjoyable.
Yeah.
So, I think that's all the time we have for today. So, we will see you next time. We have all our ratings up on our Mal, and you can follow us on Twitter at Tsukikari Anime.
Alright, see you next time. Bye, Kieran.
Alright.